building on 53rd and Greenwood, that they had different sessions for the boys and girls. Before that, the boys and girls went from 10 to 2, and after that point, they began to separate them. And the boys went in the morning, and the girls went in the afternoon, and except in Washington, D.C. And when I went to interview Dr. Shabazz, Abdul-Alim Shabazz, who many might remember as Dr. Lina Shabazz, I interviewed him because I burned about 60 or 70 DVDs from people who were part of the system. I asked him, well, why did Washington, D.C. have the sisters go in the morning? He said, oh, we thought everybody was doing that. I thought it was a special reason, but it was very simple, so that's why it's always good to inquire. In addition to these things, we were teaching our children to be responsible and accountable and dependable from early on, because you remember they had to come in there clean, and their shoes had to be shined, the little boys and girls had to be clean, and the responsibility was on them, not on their parents. Right. They were searched. You remember that? Because they could not bring toys and certain types of foods and what have you to school in those book bags. So they were learning to be responsible then. And at most of our schools, we had a board of education that enforced those rules. Now, I was the board of education in Boston. I met a brother not too long ago who told me I even cut his hair. I don't remember that story, but he told me I cut his hair. So, and all of that was done out of love because he didn't hit me. I'm an old man now. He's a young man. He didn't hit me. So it was all good. But these are the things that we have experimented with and the things that have made us successful, brothers and sisters. Now, one other thing. There was the Urban Prep Academy in Chicago. You've heard about it. It's the school of all males, and all of the graduating seniors are going to colleges and universities. They were accepted in school. About 2 months ago, several of us from the education committee went to Capitol Hill, to the Sam Rayburn building, because we've been following a series, that we've been invited to a series that's been sponsored by the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. The president of that foundation, by the way, is Sister Omani's sister, Dr. Elsie Scott. And she was tickled pink when she found out we knew that we knew Sister Omani, by the way, who's here today from Milwaukee. Anyway, when the headmaster of that school began to talk, I had Email Earl with me, and I had Sister Qatar from Claire Muhammad School in Washington, D.C. But when he began to talk, I said to them, well, wait a minute. This is the Nation of Islam. This is what we did. They talked about making the students responsible. Now, just give me examples of ways in which we make the students responsible. They talked about them wearing shirts and ties. I told you about that. They talk about it being an all-male school. I told you about that. They talk about how they taught them to be respectful by greeting each other as yes ma'am and yes sir. And you know, we did that and still do that with even our very young children. So they have taken part of our model, the model developed by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Sister Claire Muhammad, and all of the others. They've taken part of that model and they've encoded that into a system that's worked for them. And alhamdulillah, as long as it works, because you know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad always told us we would never get all of it, everybody, and the Imam has told us that as well, you know. So I'm grateful to Allah for the experiences I've had. You know, the Honorable Elijah, that the Imam changed the name to the Claire Muhammad Schools in 1976, and he has, you know, established that committee, that Office of Education, and we've changed. It's changed on occasion, but we're still working. We're working closely with Brother Wallace and the Mosque staff, and brothers and sisters, all I have to tell you is I think the best is yet to come, and it's closer than we think. So we have to continue to be patient and continue to work, because I've seen some things, and I've experienced the love that the people have for our leader, the Honorable, our leader for Imam W.D. Muhammad. And I've also experienced the love that people had for our leader, Imam Muhammad, in the years that I traveled and when I was teaching overseas and what have you, because of things that people told me about his father, and also the things that people told me about the Imam himself. And I'm grateful that both of them have been in my lives, because you know what? Allah blessed me. Allah blessed me to get an education. Allah blessed me to grow up in a stable home, etc. But those brothers have given me opportunities that I would not have had in other situations. I mean, I was 28 years old when I was director of a school in Boston, and we were doing it. We had a lot of young people who were teachers, and you're going to see that in a few minutes. And you can see some of the successes that we had. Now, first of all, I'm going to show you a tape of Imam, an interview that I made with Imam. He granted me permission to tape in 2005. And after that, I'll show you some pictures of our school and also Mohammed University of Islam number 25 in Newark, which had 900 students at that time. And you'll see things that I think a lot of you will be able to relate to. Thank you for listening.